Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome along to Arsenal Fan TV, and in this video I'm going to be previewing Arsenal's upcoming fixture against newly promoted Burnley in the Premier League this Saturday. Now going into this game, Arsenal, I think our past two fixtures against both Anderlecht and Sunderland haven't really been the most convincing, although what was important in those games was that we were able to get both 3 points in the Champions League and the Premier League, get 2 wins in a row, and now we're starting to build some momentum after some fairly disappointing results against Hull and Chelsea respectively. But I'm really looking forward going into this game against Burnley because arguably it is our easiest fixture of the season. I'm not saying that Burnley are going to make this easy for us. I think what you've got to expect from them is that they're going to put 10 men behind the ball, which I really don't blame them for, to be honest. I mean, with all respect to them, I don't think their team is really cut out for the Premier League this season. I don't think they strengthened adequately enough over summer. I think they brought in Matty Taylor from West Ham, who is arguably a championship quality player. He's been struggling to get into that West Ham team for a number of years now. They also brought in George Boyd from Hull. He's a player that, again, was struggling to get into the Hull setup. So they're a team of kind of players that can't get into mid-table sides at the moment, which, you know, it's who else are they going to get? This is a very lacklustre Burnley side, in all fairness to them, and I think this league is just a bit too much for them at this moment in time. But I still think that they're going to make it very difficult for us. They're going to come to defend, hopefully to get a point out of this game from their point of view, and that's where I'm kind of worried going into this game, because our problem for, you know, it's been a problem for numerous years for us now, but it's becoming more and more evident with recent fixtures that we're really struggling to break teams down, and when we don't have a plan B, which we don't for a lot of games, then we really struggle to get a goal in this one. It's a bit like we get to the 70th minute, realise we haven't scored a goal, and then we'll start playing proper football. I mean, that's what's really frustrated me in the past games. I mean, that's what was so obvious against Anderlecht. The amount of possession, dominance and chances we had in that game, but we didn't really get anything clear cut, and that's something we've got to do against Burnley at home. Like I said, I would be expecting us to do that, and hopefully we can get a couple of goals in this one. Of course, the big talking point is that Theo Walcott should be in the squad for this one. He was in the setup against Sunderland at the weekend. We're not in the setup, but he did feature on the bench in that one. It was great to have his presence around the team, just great for morale. I'm hoping that if we're winning this game by a couple of goals in, say, the 60th, 70th minute, then he'll come onto the pitch and hopefully get a couple of minutes under his belt, get him used to the physicality of the Premier League, and hopefully this will really kick on his season for him. I'm really hoping it will be a big game for him, and I think we're also going to have one eye on that game against Anderlecht on Tuesday, which is again a must-win game for us, as is this one. But I think we're going to be seeing some rotation in this, especially maybe the defensive department as well. But I think up top we could see maybe the likes of Joel Campbell start. Of course, we've got Wilshere coming back from suspension as well. It'd be just great to see these players all in and around the team, and maybe if he's available, Serge Gnabry could make an appearance in this one. But I think he's going to be training with the under-21s for quite a bit now. But looking at Burnley, they failed to get a win in the Premier League this season, which I think tells you an awful lot about them, and that they're not really cut out for this league at this moment in time. I mean, they have got draws against the likes of Manchester United, and they have put in valiant performances against the likes of Chelsea, but to fail to get a win, and I struggle to see them really beating anyone apart from maybe QPR or Sunderland at this moment in time, and QPR are also a team that are picking up form now, and if I'm going to be honest, I think that they're a team that are going to go up and then go straight back down again. Like I said, I just think it's a bit too much for them at this moment in time. They've got a championship squad at the moment. I'm not really too familiar with any of their players, and I think one player in their setup that certainly does resemble a lot about their situation at the moment is Danny Ings, a player that was absolutely ruthless for them in the Championship, come up to the Premier League and not really exceeded expectations. I think he scored 1 goal, and that was last weekend, and he hasn't really pushed on from where he was last season. But then again, the Championship and the Premier League, both very different leagues. That step up is absolutely massive, especially for a club like Burnley. I remember when they were in the Premier League before, and they didn't really do too much then. And we got convincing wins against them, and I would expect exactly the same at home. But they are a very forceful team, a very physical, dominant side. And that's maybe another problem that we'll have, that they've got bigger players than us in some areas. And that's something that we've had a bit of an issue with the whole season. I mean, the only players that we've got above 6 foot at the moment are Mertesacker, Koscielny's out, Chambers, Szczesny, and arguably Danny Welbeck. We haven't really got, all of our other players are in the 5 foot bracket, which is again, we're an area where I feel we're very vulnerable on set pieces, and that's where Burnley will get their chances, and if they can, they'll punish us there. But I just think we'll have a bit too much firepower for this one. And one other topic I wanted to discuss in this one is if Jack Wilshere should start in the number 10 role. I don't think Santi Cazorla has put in the most flattering of performances recently. I thought he played very poorly against Sunderland. Like I said in the review of that game, he spreads the play incredibly well, does the basic stuff really well, but I think Jack Wilshere would be an excellent alternative to have in the number 10 role for this game, especially whilst Mesut Ozil's out. It's a great opportunity for him to assert himself in that role, a role that he said he's familiar with and a role that he said he can thrive in. So I'd like to see him utilised in that role. And one thing as well, I think age does come into it in a sense, because Cazorla's bordering on the 30-year-old mark now, whereas Wilshere's only 22. I think he can bring a lot more to this team than Cazorla can. I just think he's a bit more of a driving force than someone like Cazorla. Cazorla can sometimes fade away in games, whereas Wilshere will always make himself known on the pitch. And looking at the Arsenal lineup that I want to see start this game, I'll go with Szczesny in goal, Bellerin at right back, Chambers, Mertesacker, Monreal, Arteta, Ramsey, Campbell, Wilshere, Sanchez and Danny Welbeck. I'd like to see Campbell start this game as well, simply because I don't think Chamberlain's put in the best of performances in this one and in recent games, should I say. And I think Campbell is someone that every time he's come off the bench, especially against Hull and against Anderlecht, I think he's had a real impetus off the bench. I'd like to see him start this one. I think it's only fair. And against Burnley at home, any team we should put out should be capable of beating this team. And regarding the defensive department, I think it's really important that we start Bellerin and avert Chambers to the centre-back role, simply because Chambers, I think his better performances have come at centre-back this season. Bellerin is someone that I think is going to progress more and more and more and more whilst he gets more minutes in this team. It's an excellent opportunity for him to assert himself in this game. And Gibbs, I think a lot of papers are saying that he's fit at the moment. I'm not going to know till Wenger's press conference is out, of course. But it would be great if he's able to make it into the team for this one. But for precautionary reasons, I'd just like to see Monreal start at left back, and then we can get him out of that centre back role where he is clearly not comfortable at the moment. But one big positive we can take is, like I've already said, if Walcott could get some minutes in this game, that's what I'm really counting on this. Walcott getting some minutes and hopefully a convincing Arsenal winning performance, something we could take into that Anderlecht game, and then hopefully after the game against Anderlecht we can make it 4 wins in a row, which would be absolutely great for building momentum. And then we go into that game against Swansea next week before the international break, and hopefully we could end that with 5 wins in a row, which, you know, it should be 6 wins in a row. We should have beaten Hull, but 5 wins in a row, I'll take that. Hopefully we can do something in this game, get a convincing win. If you enjoyed the video, guys, please leave a like, rating on it, subscribe to Arsenal Fan TV and check out my own channel, AFC Game by Game. And as always, thank you very much for watching, guys.